Duke has to have an uncomfortable conversation. Duke needs to have a really honest conversation with Mike Elko, their head coach. They need to almost give him like the listen, if you tell us, we won't be mad. Like, right? You can always the parent telling the child, you can always call us for a ride, no questions asked, you will not get in trouble. We care about your safety. You need to call Mike Elko in and give that kind, right? You need to call Mike Elko and give that kind of Scott for like one conversation. Listen, if you tell us now, we won't be mad. If you tell us now, we can plan, we can look out for the program, but we can't deal with dishonesty. And then you need to ask him, are you seriously entertaining Texas A&M? And I'm not saying like, are you seriously? Like, are you serious? I'm saying, is it a serious consideration? Are you legitimately considering Texas A&M? Because I'll put it like this, Duke fans. Losing Mike Elko would be really painful.
Big time.
Losing Mike Elko and not being prepared for it would be absolutely devastating to another level. You can't. And by the way, I'm just the messenger here. These are facts. You can't compete with Texas A&M in certain things. There's no reasonable expectation in certain aspects of being a college football program that Duke can expect to compete with Texas A&M. Money, certain facilities, certain recruiting budgets, certain booster support. Mm-hmm. There's not something that's within your range of possibilities.
Just reality.
So you need to check to see if those things that you can't compete in are the priorities for Mike Elko. Because in today's world, right, as ironclad as your contract might be, if there's a buyout, Texas A&M can afford to pay it. So you just need to know what it is. This will not be a fun conversation, but honesty is the most important thing right now. Call him in, coach. We're happy. We love what you've done the last 2 years. We want you to continue as our coach. But we don't want a charade. We don't want to willingly duck our head in the sand while right under our nose you're entertaining somebody else. So just tell us, right? We're not saying you're going to take the job. We understand the world is real and you might want to look in somewhere else, but just give us the decency of if you're looking in somewhere else that we would know what we have to be looking for too. Because I'll actually say this 100% about Mike Elko. I have no idea what he's going to do moving forward, okay? I don't think even he knows how he would react when Texas A&M puts a big old fat check in front of his face if they choose to do that. But I am fairly confident that he would still care about Duke and leaving Duke in as good of a place as possible on his way out. He has to be appreciative for what they've done for him the past 2 seasons. So I think he would look at him in the face and go, listen, I don't think I'm going to leave, but I'm listening. Or, yeah, I'm listening, and my agent really wants me to take it. I'm not sure. Or whatever the answer is, right? Whatever the answer is. And then Duke can plan accordingly because you don't want to give back everything Elko gave you. As of right now, Mike Elko on multiple sports books is the betting favorite to be the next coach of Texas A&M. In the states and on the markets where you're allowed to bet on such a thing, he is the betting favorite to be the next coach of Texas A&M. So Duke needs to gather all of the information they can. That's not to say they want him gone. They definitely don't. That's not to say that they hope he's gone or anything along those lines. But it is to say not being prepared if he does leave, knowing everything we know, is foolish. And you don't want the thing where, right, like, you know, a relationship is obviously deteriorating. A relationship is obviously on the way out. But you're both going to pretend like it doesn't, that coolness, that iciness doesn't exist. You're all going to pretend that when Mike Elko was talking to the media and he was asked about the Texas A&M job, he said no, even though he didn't. He said a lot of words that were complimentary of Duke. None of them were, I'm not taking the job if it's offered at Texas A&M. Dan Lanning did that at Oregon. Deion Sanders did that at Colorado. Mike Elko did not say, if they offer the job, I'm not taking it. He does, by the way, always sound a little annoyed, a little perturbed when the question is brought up. But there's one way to make the question never brought up again. Say, absolutely not. I'm not taking the job. Duke needs to call him into a room. And by the way, they might have done this, right? We to be a fly on the wall. We will never know if this conversation took place because it should take place in a room with the door shut and not many people in there. Hey, Elko, love you. What's the deal? Keep us in mind. We won't be personally hurt as long as you treat us with some kind of respect here. Because you have to understand, right? Everybody's got their own priorities. Right? I've seen people leave jobs to move closer to home. Seen people, meaning closer to like where they grew up or closer to where their extended family is. I've seen people leave jobs for money and on good terms, right? Their current boss or recently ex-boss looks at them and says, that's a big number. We can't match that. Shake their hand, say good luck to you. We wish you would stay around, but, you know, we're all human. You add 2 zeros on anything, and it's like, I can't do that.
Yeah, slide that decimal point over a little bit, see what happens.
That's one where you say, I'm happy for you. I'm bummed for us, but I can be two things at once, right? I can feel positive and negative in different parts of my brain. I think that's fair. But you need to have the conversation. Ignoring it helps no one. And by the way, Mike Elko might look at you in the face and say, no shot am I taking that. Or he might say, listen, their number that my agent is floating to me and it's not offered yet is this. If you can come within 30% of it, I would much rather stay here. Right? It's life-changing money. I would much rather stay here if the money was a little bit closer. And then right? Just put your cards on the table. Be good to him. He'll be good to you. He strikes me as an honorable dude. But you need to have the conversation. Ignoring it helps no one.